Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto was exiled after he brought Sasuke back, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Undervis. Solid Anu. Why are we sneaking in again? Nami asked. Because the furball pissed off the Empress and now she's looking for him. Naruto said and winced. Master, move with Naruto. Micah said, seeing the light shimmer of blue move out of Naruto a bit. We're nearly to the portal to Lowtown. Naruto said. Keep quiet, furball. There are guards all over the place. I would kit, but something don't feel right. Q hissed in a low voice. He was currently using Naruto as a host by holding his form in him. Quiet, both of you. Nami said as they moved down the streets. Those aren't the Empress's guards. I don't know that symbol. Q hissed. Shut up. Micah said as they passed several vendors. Wait. Q hissed. Sell off everything and buy supplies. We won't be back for some time, so spend what you can and we'll hide the rest with Shippo. Micah nodded. Nami and I will take care of it. You and Naruto get to the den. The blonde nodded. His tails were under the cloak and he was feeling cramped. Nami and Micah watched the two enter a portal and then he looked at his lavender-haired companion. We'll sell off the hides and the furs. He said. We'll buy potions and get you a couple of daggers. Nami followed, her bow in her hands. Both her and Micah had no hoods and they slipped deeper into the crowds. What do you think happened? Nami asked from next to him, her voice low and pitched so that only he could hear it. Not sure, but we can't get involved in anything political now. Konoha needs Naruto, and he needs to return there. You speak of Naruto, but what about you? Nami asked as they looked for a proper vendor. I go where my brother goes. I left him once, I regret that every moment. I won't abandon him again. Micah paused and looked around. Where the hell is old Dan? Dan, you say? A vendor asked. Yeah, Micah said, approaching. You must have been out doing a hunt. The vendor said, and Micah just nodded. Not much luck on the tundra, but then again it is a desolate place. Micah said. You said something about Dan. Oh, right, the vendor said as Nami bought a couple pieces of fruit. Dan and a lot of the vendors were rounded up a couple of days ago by those new guards. Don't know what the fist symbol means, but it's Ray, means zero. Micah said. Something was tickling in the back of his mind, but he couldn't figure out what. Right, well anyway, those new guards came in and rounded up people who were complaining, or speaking out against only humans being allowed in the upper city. Micah and Nami exchanged a look. What of the other races? Micah asked. Well, either they left, or went to Lowtown. The denizens of the lake had numerous guards on their exodus, and 6 battalions of troops are guarding the beach now. Micah didn't know what to say. We have to get out of here. Things are spiraling and if we remain we'll be drawn into it. You need to sell something. The vendor asked. Some furs, and hides, teeth and bones. Micah said. Let me see. The vendor said. Micah pulled the bag out and looked at the vendor. You're a fruit seller. I'm also a merchant and I own 3 more stalls here. Micah showed the items and the vendor whistled. Now that must have been some beast to give teeth this size. It was. Nami and Micah said at the same time. And the hide? Thick, I'll give you 10 for the hide and another 2 for the teeth. 25 for the hide and 4 for the teeth. Micah said. You'll be able to make several pieces of light armor, tops, boots and the like. 12 for the hide and 3 for the teeth. The vendor counted. Nami watched as haggled. 20 for the hide and 4 for the teeth, and not a silver lower. Deal. The vendor said and went to get the money from his safe. Micah looked at Nami who looked upset. 20 pieces of silver. You could have gotten 100 times that. She said. Micah laughed. 20,000 for the hide and 4,000 for the teeth. Micah said. Oh, that's better. The lavender-haired girl said. Master had Shippo show me how to haggle with the vendors my first few weeks here. The vendor came up with a bag and Micah peered inside to double check. Nice. The holding bags are nice for money, not as large as that one you have, but big enough to put money in. I'm throwing that in for extra. The vendor said. Micah took the money and after thanking the merchant went to another area and bought several herbs and potions that he knew wouldn't be available back in their own realm. He led Nami to another portal room and froze. There were numerous guards. The pair backed out without being noticed. What the hell? Micah hissed as Nami pulled him into an alley. How are we supposed to get to the den if there are guards? Nami was going to say something but saw a poster with his image and Naruto's on it along with a description of Kyuubi's. She saw guards coming and did the only thing she could. She grabbed him and pulled him into a deep searing kiss. Otogakur, Lord Orochimaru. A masked Oto Nin entered and went to a knee before the throne. Rise. The snake Sannin said, his serpentine eyes studying the man. Word from Hojo. Sasuke has finished the preparations. Has he activated the Mangekyo Sharingan? The Sannin asked. No, my lord. The Nin reported. It seems the rumors are true then. As of a best friend or loved one is needed. Orochimaru pondered and shook his head. How goes Haruno's research project? He asked. She has managed to master several jutsu off the scrolls that she retrieved from Suna. Orochimaru nodded. Excellent. When the time of the invasion comes, keep her close to Sasuke-kun. Her rapid devotion might be just what we need. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. Tell me, Waka, has our spies learned anything new? The Nin identified as Waka paused. Suna looks to be fortifying, but our spies can't get closer to check as the desert has become one big sand trap. They advise we avoid. No. Suna failed us the last time we tried to take Konoha, and now have allied with them. I won't leave them at my back again. That sand brat is too unslay to leave with a free shot like that. We'll use Kumo and Iwa to wear them down. Waka paused. Sasuke has removed the cage of Kumo. He's ruling there right now, Lord Orochimaru. And that matters how. Send one of the Junin and have them send Sasuke back to me. It's time I have a hand in his final stages of training. Waka shuddered. Both Orochimaru and Sasuke were like dangerous spoiled children that would K if they didn't get their way. Have you found the remains I asked you to retrieve? Orochimaru asked. Yes, Lord Orochimaru, but the head was missing. Waka said. No matter. Have them taken to Lab 9 and send for Dr. Lam. I want him to work his trade, and then send for the necromancer. Tell him he has another job. Waka nodded. The two men he was to find scared him as much as the man on the throne. The only thing keeping them loyal was the money they got and all the fresh bee they could use for their experiments. Waka hurried down the hall, never noticing the black form slipping off the wall and then heading in the other direction. Konoha, I'm sorry Hinata, but I need to send you and Kakashi to help protect the Kazekage. They're nearly done with their preparations and once the trap is sprung, I need you to make sure that Gaara is evacuated when the time comes. Tsunade said. Hinata stood before the Hokage's desk. So, I am to take Kakashi and Team 9 back to Suna, without Guy-sensei? She asked. Yes, you'll be working with Itachi. I don't mind that, but shouldn't Team 9 have a chance to recuperate? Guy is still on the injured list. Hinata asked. I would, but with the invasion time looming closer, I need my best on the front. If things hold till schedule, then Guy should be up in time for when Orochimaru and Danzo launch their attack on Konoha. Tsunade said. Hinata looked at the Hokage. Lady Tsunade, I had a dream. She said. She then told the Hokage of what had happened while she slept. Tsunade couldn't help but smile. So, you kissed him? Hinata blushed. Tsunade chuckled. And Jarkin assured you it was real? The blonde Hokage asked for confirmation. Yes, Hinata said, and she was starting to wonder if it was a mistake to share this with the Hokage. She looks way too pleased with this news. And he gave you that nice-sized hickey. Hinata blushed and fought the urge to pull up her shirt to hide her N and cursed herself for no longer wearing the bulky jacket she used to wear. Stupid vengeance spirit giving me confidence and damn nosy Hokages who like to see if I can still blush. Tsunade chuckled. Don't worry Hinata. I won't scare him off. I might in fact handcuff him to you once he returns. Hinata didn't need the mental image, as her mind supplied what she could do while handcuffed to the blonde fox lord. Imagination is going to drive me crazy and I'm going to wear my fingers out. She thought and wiped the slight trickle of blood from her nose, hoping the Hokage hadn't noticed it. I've been around Tenten way too much, and my self-imposed chastity isn't helping. Hinata thought of all the times Tenten talked to her and gave in Hinata's opinion way too much information on what happened between Team 9 in their apartment. Like I need that kind of information about my cousin. Hinata. Sorry. Hinata said, focusing back on the Hokage. Tsunade smirked. Do we need to have the talk? Hinata swore in her mind and wondered if she would see Naruto again in the dreamscape, or would he be back soon? Undervis. Solid Anu. Lowtown. Naruto sliding along the walls sneezed and looked around praying that the guards hadn't noticed. He'd used the harem jutsu to slip past the guards at the portal and Q had asked him after they were in Lowtown about Mika and Nami. Bless you. Thanks. Someone's talking about me, Naruto said as he looked around and saw the street clear of troops. Worry about it later, Kit. We're nearly to the den. We use the sub-basement and perform the ritual to return to the mortal realm. Q said softly. You sure Shippo got it ready? If that lazy son of a Inu didn't, I'll gut him with a spoon. Why a spoon? Naruto paused and asked. Because it's dull, it'll hurt more. You and Mika really need to get a hobby other than coming up with weird crap. Naruto muttered and slipped from an alley to the fence around the bar. With a simple chakra leap he was over and crouched, his senses and Vunla senses stretching out for danger. Use the hidden door. We don't know who all is inside. Q advised. Mad now that you have the coral in the walls to block scans. Stow it, Kit. It was a good idea at the time. There, move that brick and open sesame. Naruto finished slipping into the hidden door and a space in the bar. Looks clear. Naruto pushed the fake wall open and stepped out. Welcome back, Lord Kyuubi. The shade leapt out of Naruto and the blonde nine-tailed teen looked at his former prisoner turned ally. Hello, Your Majesty. Q said, his shade seeming to pale. Undervis. Solid Anu. Lowtown. Naruto looked at the woman who made the shade very nervous enough to put Naruto physically between them and back up into the hidden space in the wall. You ran away before we finished our discussion, Lord Kyuubi. The Elemental Empress said, standing alone in the middle of the bar. Well, I have my apprentices to train. The Undervis is in danger. She pushed on. A new evil has risen on the horizon. The shade of Kyuubi stopped and sighed loudly. Hermione, my apprentices and I are returning to their dimension. I can't get involved. Not get involved. It's imperative that you. I am not a lord of you court. I am a prisoner. This boy is my Jinchuriki. Only because of a spell am I as you see me now. I can't be involved. Then all here is lost. She said. Bulls. Rally the people. Whomever is causing this peril, the people of the Undervis will unite around you. They took Ariel. That have control of the lightning weapons. The Empress said. As well as the Sorcerers Guild. The guild bows to their new master. And who might that be? I do not know. His troops have secured the upper city. There are a few down here, but they aren't as bad. They ignore Lowtown and the down zone. Kyuubi sighed. Kit, get your things ready, and Lord Kyuubi, I need you and your people. The Empress said. Your Highness, I can't get involved. The Kit here needs to return to his world. They are at war themselves. And where he goes, I go. We are bound. The Empress sighed. You have the citizens of Solid Anu, contact the merpeople of the lake and nomads. They will fight for you. The Kitsunes here will fight for you. I cannot. Naruto slipped around the pair. Kyuubi, I need you. No, you don't. You never did. The Shade said sadly. You were someone I gave up everything for. I can't be there anymore for you, Hermione. You are the Elemental Empress and you have the power to do anything. Except make you love me. She said. Naruto's eyes widened and he froze against the stairs, not daring to move. I will always love you, Hermione. But, you were in love with Takesis. She said softly. She's SQB. And yet, my heart belongs to her. She waits for me in Kami's court. When my time in the mortal realm is done, my punishment ended, I will be before her and Kami. I hate immortality. The Empress said. Kyuubi shrugged his ghostly shoulders. Give it up. Let whomever it is rule the Undervis then. Find yourself, find a mate that will love you and be in love with you. She looked at Kyuubi, tears in her eyes. I loved you. But your station never allowed you to choose who you were with. Kyuubi said with a sad nod. Lead your rebellion to reclaim the Topaz throne. Dissolve the council. Make your own rules. Find a strong mate and rule wisely. Kyuubi said. The Elemental Empress sighed. And if I wanted you? Nobody. Just a shade. Her eyes looked to where Naruto was and Kyuubi shook his head. He's got a girlfriend waiting to see him. The Empress sighed. All the good ones are taken. Kyuubi chuckled. Lead your people, Hermione. I have another destiny awaiting me. Will you ever come back? She asked softly. Perhaps, who can say? Kami works her ways mysterious to all, even her Metrion. The Empress looked at the shade. Teach the boy well, Kyuubi. For next we meet again, I will be upon the Topaz throne once again, and he will assume his duties. Kyuubi chuckled. He's more independent than I was, and he's stronger. He won't kneel to you either, Hermione. He will lead the Vulpine race to newer heights than ever imagined before. Kyuubi looked where Naruto was standing. He is my heir, mine and Takisu's. While I teach him, she has given to him and made him what he is now. Hermione, daughter of Seti, the elemental empress of all the Undervis, looked at the blonde nine-tailed youth. Rule well, child. You lead one of the most powerful races in all the Undervis. Naruto looked between the fox and the woman, unable to say anything. Solid Anu. Upper City. Mikahamaru was no stranger to kissing women, but there was something about the kiss he was receiving from Nami that seemed to supercharge the air around him. When she kissed him, he'd been taken by surprise. As the kiss deepened, he felt complete for the first time ever. His toes were curling as she deepened it again, and he felt his whole body relax as he gave himself over to her. He was just enjoying it when she pulled back. He blinked as if waking from a dream to see her looking around. Come, we'll need a different way down, she said, pulling up her hood and looking at him. Muwa, he asked, dazed. There are wanted posters up for you and the other two, Nami said, pointing at a wall. It took a moment for it to seep into his fogged brain and he sighed. No, we won't, Micah said. See jutsu. A puff of smoke and Micah was replaced by a young woman with silver hair and long pigtails. How do I look? Nami blinked at the newer voice. She reached out and felt real skin. What? The woman blinked her golden eyes and smiled coyly. Naruto came up with a henge to use against perverts back in Konoha. He showed me how he did it. We realized that the side effect actually turned the user into a woman. Nami was still shocked by the transformation. Micah pulled a pair of glasses out and slid the tinted things on. It disguised his outer eyes. Why would he come up with something like that? Nami asked, amazed at the abilities the two had. A ninja needs things in their arsenal. Think about how useful this is for spying missions. Not only that, but perverts get knocked out at the more perverted version of this. Perverted? Nami asked as they headed for a new portal. Yeah. N-girl. Naruto has another version he says is even worse. Hasn't shown me, but knowing him, I'd say it was needed for something he got trouble in. Naruto was sneezing several times and he knew it was Micah's fault. Micah looked at Nami, and realized the kiss meant nothing to her. She used it to hide him from the passing patrol, and he was wondering why that bothered him so much. Shaking his head mentally, the pair entered a new portal room, finding two guards. Excuse me, sirs, Micah said. My cousin and I were out in the Estasands. What's happening? The guards sneered. The Empress was overthrown. There is a new order here in Solid Anu. Lord Payne has declared martial law. Only upper city dwellers are allowed up here. Micah blinked at the guard. Oh dear. He turned his female form to look at Nami. But, how are we to hunt? You need to get a special travel pass, the other guard said. Micah looked at the pair. Then we need to get home. May we please? She asked, pointing at the portal. Next time you'll need a pass, girly, the first guard said, and Micah nodded his head. Come along, sister. We need to tell father we won't be hunting until he gets us a pass. Micah pulled Nami into the portal and they vanished. How come all the hot women live in Lowtown? The first guard asked. Not sure, but if I was their father I wouldn't allow them to go out without an armed escort. That one with the silver hair had a set on her that would make a pleasure girl envious. His partner snorted. The purple-haired one carried herself better. Lowtown. I feel dirty from just their eyeing me, Micah said as he cancelled the jutsu and they hurried down the deserted streets. Nami was quiet, her green eyes looking around. First time in Lowtown? Micah asked. Yes. Gloomy, I know. But then again, the rich live above and think they have it rough, while the people in Lowtown work hard for everything. Many of them hunt the wilds and trade for what they need. Much like your nomads, but they live down here. Micah stopped in the middle of the street and looked at the woman coming out of the fox den. The Empress. Nami looked. She was aware of who it was. She'd never thought the woman would be around the people. The Empress paused and looked. Her personal guards moved to her side. She studied Micah and the girl next to him. Take care of them. Both are special, she said and walked away. Micah looked after her with a raised eyebrow, while her guards were looking around for any sign of danger. What was that about? Nami asked. Not 100% sure, but Master Q and her have history. With a shrug he led her into the fox den where Master Q was alone in the middle of the room, his face lost in thought. Naruto. Micah called out. Upstairs. Came the call. Micah looked at Q who hadn't moved and motioned for Nami to follow. Hey, where's Shippo? Micah asked entering the room he shared with Naruto. In hiding. He left us a note, the basement is ready for us to use. Naruto said packing up his things. Your stuff's packed in that scroll. Naruto said. Thanks. Micah said sitting on his bed. Nami looked at the pair. So, your world. It's time. Q said from the doorway. The three followed him and reaching the basement. Nami looked around. Dark magics this is, she said seeing the runes. Not really, Micah said. It's similar to the one we used to get here. Not as complicated. We shall. Hold QB. The four turned to see a shadow rise from the floor. Ah, Kami's darkness. What do you want? Q asked to the being of shadow. The glowing white eyes staring back at them. You cannot pass back to the world as you are. The darkness said, its hollow voice said. Too much power are you taking back to the mortal realm? What? Naruto yelled. Kami feels you will tip the balance of power too far. And what has Kami done about the Akatsuki? Or the other demon lords on that side? Micah asked. My bitey has a point darkness. The shadow side, it was a hissing sound. Too many Vunla uses. That is a power that should not be on the other side of the barrier. Take my ability. Micah said and Naruto looked at him in shock. Micah, no. Nami looked surprised. Take mine as well. The others looked at her in surprise. It's not developed except for some sensing, but take it if it means that much. The darkness considered. And QB's as well. You return as but a shade. And how am I to aid my Jinchuriki as a apparition? He holds my chakra. Advise is allowed, but too much power can't be released back onto the mortal plane, or steps will be needed to balance it out even more. Fine. Take it you greedy bastard. A chant from the shadow and Micah and Nami gasped. QB's spectral face contorted. Kami's will be done. The shadow said. She's on the rag again, isn't she? QB asked. The darkness remained silent. Coward. QB asked. Kami sees all, and knows all. The darkness said. Well then, you open the portal, since I cannot now. QB said. The shadow hissed and the space mark shimmered and a glowing blue portal formed. Safe journey, and Kami watch over you. Pass. She can keep her blessing and keep her nose out of it. QB said drifting into the portal and vanishing. Naruto looked at the darkness and bowed his head. Sorry about him, he gets cranky when his plans don't go as he wishes. Micah and Nami looked at the darkness. Be at peace, dragon. Be at peace, warrior princess. The darkness said. The pair bow and step into the portal and vanish. The darkness remains. Kami will watch over you both. May you all be strong enough when the time comes. A wave of a shadowed hand and the portal closes. Hinata stood with Itachi on the wall. Her Byakugan eyes looking off into the distance. Since arriving several days ago, she'd spent days looking out over the horizon. The sentries would send warning. Kankuro said to her on the second day she was watching. It's not for the enemy she looks for. Itachi said joining her. The puppet master wasn't sure what to say. We killed a couple of Iwa and sound nins that broke the barriers. Kankuro said as Gaara joined the leaf nins on the wall. Hinata said nothing. She and Kakashi and Team 9 had arrived and Gaara had not liked their orders one bit. The fact his own ninja agreed that he needed to be protected didn't sit well with him had reduced the soft-spoken cage to mere grunts. Her eyes watched the horizon. She'd left Kakashi to deal with Gaara's safety, she had one real reason to be here, and it had nothing to do with Gaara, she knew he could protect himself. Her heart was on one, and she knew, deep down this would be the starting line. Otogakur. Sakura wearing a modified battle dress and the sound headband was around her Her pink hair was in an elaborate braid and she wore black gloves. Report. She looked at Danzo first and once he nodded she turned her sickly yellow-green eyes to Orochimaru. The scroll sported numerous jutsus in the medical field, and with Kabuto's notes and the time chamber I have mastered them all. The snake Sannin chuckled. Then using the last hourglass was not a waste. Tell me Haruno, will you be able to K your former friends? I had no friends in Konoha, Lord Orochimaru. She said, her voice taking on a hard edge. They all betrayed me when they chose the demon. Danzo. Orochimaru called. Sai has been sent to retrieve Sasuke. Our allies will rally under your banner and we will wipe out Sunagakure, and then the leaf. I want Suna leveled to the ground. Have the sorcerers ready to multi-summon the snakes. Danzo nodded, took the scroll the snake Sannin raised up. We'll use the mercenaries first, then Iwa and Kumo's troops. Have the sound and your root Anbu run last. Danzo nodded. And the others? Orochimaru laughed. Sasuke was ambitious and has absorbed Kiri and Kusa into the Iwa forces. Danzo was surprised by this. He hadn't been aware of what Sasuke had been doing. He ked the other cages. He and I will lead, the rest will follow. Orochimaru said, looking at the map. After Suna and Konoha fall, the other smaller villages will be easy pickings. Lord Orochimaru, rumors are that Akatsuki has been disbanded, Danzo began. Sakura, seeing that she wasn't needed, bowed to the two leaders and left. None noticed a shadow slip along the wall behind her. Yes, Orochimaru prompted. His gaze went to a mummified hand in a jar with a ring on it. Itachi was instrumental in their fall. It also is reported that Pain and Conan have disappeared, and no one knows where. Similar to the Kyuubi brat. Orochimaru said, narrowing his eyes. Itachi don't matter. His rejoining the leaf will fuel Sasuke's anger to newer heights. Danzo looked at the leader of Oto. But, don't you need him? Orochimaru snickered. I do, but it is also the reason I insisted that your little pink-haired spy learn the scrolls she stole from Suna. One way or another, my plans for Sasuke-kun will go ahead as planned. He sneered. Danzo shivered. He had a bad feeling about the upcoming invasion. Konoha, get me the maps for the eastern defenses. Tsunade said. She looked up as Shizune entered. What? Jiraiya's reported in, he's got 100 ninja from Waterfall. Takagakure sent us ninja. Tsunade asked, surprised. They say they owe Naruto. Shizune said. Tsunade sighed. I might ask Orochimaru for his jutsu to raise the old council and K them again. Naru-kun is responsible for nearly all our alliances, and they, Tsunade shook her head. When I see him, I'm giving him the Hokage position. The new council won't let you. Shizune said. What new council? She asked her assistant. I thought you knew. The civilians and several low-level clans have formed a new council. They plan on a takeover. Great, just what we don't need right now. A civil war. Tsunade sighed. Get Ibiki, Shikamaru and Guy in here. He's still on light duty. Shizune reminded. Trust me, he won't need to do much. I need more heads and hands. Shizune was out the door and Tsunade looked at the mountain. Damn you, sensei. You left one hell of a mess, and it keeps getting worse. She muttered and looked at another map before grabbing a pen and making several marks. I survived this, I swear I retire and live off the brat. She muttered. Wave 3B hit the water and a ghostly figure hung over the water. Damn it, Naruto yelled, surfacing. He looked around and saw Nami come up. He looked around. Micah, he called. Nami's green eyes looked and she squinted, trying to see if he was further away. He hit the water near you, Kit. Q said from where he was floating. Naruto took a deep breath and dove under the water. Nami was kicking her legs to stay afloat. It seemed like an eternity before Naruto surfaced again and he was holding an unconscious Micah. Why is he unconscious? Naruto asked. He could be suffering from having his connection to the Vunla severed. Q said. The shade looked. Lands this way. Naruto with an arm around Micah slowly treaded water, Nami following as well. Naruto saw she looked shaken. Why aren't I or you affected then, Kyuubi? Nami asked, spitting water as she swam after Naruto. I have no physical body to feel with. You were sensitive. Micah has been using it since we got to the Undervis. She remained quiet as they got to shore. Naruto dragged Micah onto the bank and sighed. Nami joined them on Micah's other side. She reached out and felt his pulse. He's alive, just unconscious. she said after a moment of feeling the strong steady pulse beneath her fingers. Where are we? Naruto wondered. QB looked around. Not sure, Kit. I thought for sure we'd end up on Kwai's mountain again. Naruto growled. Great. We could be anywhere. Nami looked at a nearby tree. Why not go higher and see if you see anything? I'll wait here and hope Micah wakes soon. Naruto nodded and dragged his wet and sore body up the tree using chakra in his feet with a practiced ease. He made it to the top and looked around. I'll be, he said, seeing a familiar sight. He looked down. Hey, I know where we are, he said, a huge grin on his face. He leapt down from branch to branch and landed with a smirk. We're near the old drunk's place. Q paused. Wave. Yeah, we need to make it to Suna. We're not making it anywhere until Mikahamaru is on his feet, Nami said, getting the two fox lords to look at her. Right, so we'll crash at the old drunk's and visit with Inari and... This isn't a pleasure trip, Kit. We have to get information, and I promised Tsunade I would get you to Suna first. Q said, and Naruto crossed his arms. I don't care. Suna's the other way. Hinata, Konoha is that way, Naruto said, gesturing in two directions. Q smirked. I won't pick on you about your Hyuga right now, Kit. But we'll head to Suna first after Micah's on his feet. Naruto looked at his brother in all but blood and sighed. How much more is he expected to give up, Fox? He asked as he created a shadow clone to carry the unconscious Hanyu. He SD his time in Konoha when we were younger because he was afraid to K me. He SD his Kekkei Genkai to separate us. He couldn't become a Zet, he gave up his connection to Vunla. Naruto's blue eyes looked at the shade. How much more does he have to give? I don't know, Naruto, Kyuubi said softly. He's been a true friend, and if it was in my power I would give it all back to him. Itoidc. Kyuubi and Naruto looked at Nami. Why are we idiots? He asked the purple-haired archer. Because, he gave up those things because he cares about you, Naruto. Don't make them in vain. She's right, Q said as they traveled. The clone carrying Micah keeping pace. They reached the bridge and Naruto stopped reading the plaque. Whoa. The Great Naruto Bridge. Q looked at the plaque and then at the blonde nine-tailed Hanyu next to him. I'll be dipped in fleas. You had those already, Naruto said, scratching the back of his N. You did good here, Kit. It's where you showed others that the will of fire lives in you. Kyuubi said. The pair shared a look and memories of that time passed quickly. Nami looked around. They seemed to be flourishing. She said. Yeah, it's changed a lot since I was here last, Naruto said, his tail swinging behind him. His eyes took in the state of the buildings and he smiled. They really did well. He led them down the street. He didn't think anything of the people looking at him. Nami noticed it and she couldn't think of why. Kyuubi looked around as well. I'm forgetting something. I know I am, he thought. We're here, Naruto said as he took Micah from the clone and dispersed it. He smiled as he rapped on the door. He heard a call from inside and as the door opened he smiled. Hey Tsunami-chan. The scream seemed to echo all around the village. Tazuna rushed from somewhere in the house to catch his daughter before she fell to the floor in a faint. Hey old drunk, Naruto said. Tazuna looked up and blinked. That's it, no more drinking before dinner, he muttered, seeing Naruto in all his fox-like glory. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.